The Devils now have lost 2 straight after an 8-game winning streak as they are defeated in Game 2 of their 4-game road trip, losing to San Jose by a score of 5-2. Matt Loughlin along with Chico Resch. Jake Allen suffers his first loss of the year. I'm not sure he deserved a better fate necessarily, but nonetheless, there were a lot of breakdowns that led to tonight's loss.
Yeah, I mean, a 5-4 win for the Devils would have been appropriate. I watched the goals against, right? Okay, the first goal was a nice deke. Then there was one, a screen tip, right? Then there was another one where a pass from the corner hit Dawson Mercer's stick, but went right to, I think it was Kurashev, and he blasted it home. I mean, he never got breaks, so I don't want to pin much on him, but at the same time, the other guy at the other end is playing out of his mind and just getting all kinds of help from legs. And he made great saves too, Matty. And you know what he did, Nedeljkovic? He controlled the rebound. And so, we take all that and we can talk about it, but I don't want to say at all, I don't believe it this year that this is the Devils that we're seeing these last 2 games. These are not the New Jersey Devils we think we are.
So what's step 1 or steps 1 and 2 in correcting some of the things that we've seen?
Well, first of all, you can't give up a goal in the first 2 minutes on breakdowns, and they done that. And, you got to recognize, okay, and we know this, but the puck luck's not there. We're not getting breaks on our shots. We're not getting goals, finishes, whatever. So what's the only other alternative then, Matty? Play defense. And that's what they got to do. You got to get through the first period, not giving up a goal. And they did that earlier on in the season. Maybe they'd give up one, but then they got better and better. But now when you're down 4-0, 5-1, you can't just get better and better. You got to start really being spectacular and getting breaks, and that doesn't happen most nights.
Because chasing the game is not a recipe for success.
Exactly. You know what? Now, you make a good point there, Matty, because you can look at a game. Say you take a tape, and you look at a team when they're chasing the game. You don't tell anybody that they're chasing the game, but you say, oh, they're making that mistake. They're not, yeah, because they're chasing the game. But if you have the game under your control, then you just keep rolling. And that's what we saw earlier. And you were absolutely right. When you give up goals like they have early in a hockey game, you're chasing it. And that's not a recipe for winning. You mentioned it.
Well, as we await reaction from the Devils dressing room, it was early on where San Jose took a lead, as it happened on Tuesday night in Denver, when a goal was scored less than 2 minutes into the game. As you talked about, the Devils fell behind 2-0. They would fall behind 3-0 in San Jose. But it was one of the young stars for the San Jose Sharks who found himself after a loose puck and coming in on goal. Luke Hughes and Seamus Casey put together. Let's see what happens. Siegenthaler fires one off the corner boards. It rolls to the near side. Dawson Mercer digs it out, sends it to the point, but it goes off the stick of Siegenthaler. And here's a break. Celebrini or Eklund, and he scores. Eklund makes it 1-0, 42 seconds in. That's the way you want to start if you're the home team, not the way the road team wanted it to begin.
No, and you don't want one of their better offensive players getting the breakaway. How about a third or fourth line? Eklund goes a little bit on his backhand. So then, that the goalie's saying, is he going to shoot? Well, then he took it. He's a left-handed shot. Then he took it to his left. And then Jake's got to push, right? He's got to get over there. He slipped it through the legs.
And for Eklund, it was his 5th goal of the season. Philip Kurashev was given the only assist on the goal 42 seconds in. That was the earliest the Devils had given up a goal to start a game. The Devils found themselves down by a 1-0 score. Jake Allen was under some pressure. 15 first-period shots by San Jose. Eventually, goals would be yielded to Kurashev and to Wenberg, as those last 2 goals came in a span of 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Kurashev's third, Wenberg's third, and those were kind of the bouncy, wonky ones too.
Yeah, those are the 2 wonky ones. I mean, the breakaway scares you. You think, oh, what is going on? But then you see two plays that you don't think are going to end up in the net, but, unusual circumstances happen, and they do. And I'm going to tell you, Matty, when you're a player, that's what throws you off more than just good goals, where you're not getting the breaks. And so when the Devils went, I was surprised. 2-0, I thought, okay, they get the next one. But the third one, to me, was really eyebrow raiser where I said, ooh, I don't know what kind of night this is going to be, but it's not looking good.
Well, the Devils were looking for some late life in that first period, and they got it when Dmitry Orlov was called for an elbow. Unfortunately, Andre Palat, who played the rest of the game, absorbed that hit, and there was some blood gushing for sure. But the Devils' power play went to work. They needed something to happen, and something happened. Here's Mercer, goes cross ice on the backhand side of Pratt. Out high it goes to Hamilton, back to Pratt in the circle. To Hamilton at the blue line, near side, Jack. Wrist one in front, they score! The redirect set up perfectly, a power play goal. Dawson Mercer, just what the doctor ordered. His fifth goal of the season. It came with a minute to go in the period. Jack Hughes, Dougie Hamilton with the assists. And some of that momentum, the doctor ordered it, and it carried over into the second, didn't it?
It did, but where did the doctor go?
He went home.
That's what it looked like.
He left early. He said, I'm done for the night.
And unfortunately, even the Devils had a really good second period, at least the first 15 minutes. They couldn't get closer than the 5-1. Yeah, as it was Alex Nedeljkovic's night, though he was voted just the third star. But nonetheless, don't go there, Matty.
He was.
You're going to upset me.
He was the standout, and Andre Palat. Well, he can attest how tough it was tonight.
Good.
Now to the corner for Palat. Checked from behind by Klingberg, who comes away with the puck. Then he turns it over under pressure. Jack with it to the blue line, Nemitz. Nemitz gives it cross ice for Jack. Skating inside the blue line now in the near circle on the backhand. Comes behind the net. Steps on the brakes. Slides one in for Palat. And he's denied by Nedeljkovic, and the puck is cleared. So that I'll call him well-traveled, not necessarily a journeyman, but stops in Carolina and Detroit, and he's been around Nedeljkovic, but only 29 years of age, 9 seasons in the league, and he was good tonight.
I don't think any goalie could have played better than he did today.
And so the period rolled on. Devils at one point, as you mentioned, they dominated the first 15 minutes. They were out shooting San Jose 9-3, and once again it was Andre Palat with a golden opportunity. Jack has it inside the blue line, cuts down the right wing side, steps on the brakes, moves out a little higher, feeds one now to Bratt. He's out high, gives it to Jack, has some room, flips one in front, save made by Nedeljkovic. It's Palat who's denied again. And you were disappointed.
Well, there were a number of times tonight I thought, that puck's going in. No. And the goalie was he was stealing some goals, and that was one of them. And
so the Devils, and you predicted it might happen, not scoring, trailing 3-1. You expected that at some point San Jose would have a little bit of a push. They did when Will Smith scored his fourth goal of the season at 16:50, but that was off a face-off where his shot was blocked. It came right back to him.
That's the kind of luck he had. And then, when I just saw it, Manny, then he roofed it off the crossbar and down, So gets lucky, unlucky, then he gets the puck, and he's just brilliant with his shot.
Less than 2 minutes later, it was Tyler Toffoli who scored to make it 5-1. Initially credited to Toffoli, then it was given to Dmitry Orlov, who had a forceful game tonight for sure for San Jose, then eventually given back to Toffoli. At any rate, that made it 5-1 going into the third, and you had to play it out. You had to get something happening quickly. The Devils did get a power play at 3:31 when Eklund was called for a hold. We'll call this the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. Now here's Jack, left circle, looks for Dawson Mercer, looks for Jesper Bratt. It bounces away. Hamilton at the blue line for Bratt. Right circle, back to Dougie. The one-timer, they score! I think it was tipped in front. It was a bomb from Hamilton. Mercer might have gotten a piece, and he does lead the fist bump parade, so make it number 2 for Dawson Mercer, and it's 5-2. Pair of power play goals for the fifth-year player. 6 goals on the season now. Dougie Hamilton, Jesper Bratt with the assist. That was the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. But that was it. Devils outshoot San Jose 10-zip in the third period, but not able to come up with another goal. And San Jose wins its first at home this year.
Devils needed like 6 power plays. They were 2 for 3, but they needed more. Yeah, and you could just see the flaws of San Jose. The Devils knew it. I'm sure they're talking about it on the bench between periods. But you know what, Matty? Capitalizing on a team's defensive mistakes have to end by you speeding the goalie. And Nedeljkovic, he robbed, 5 or 6 shots that I thought were in the net.
And he picks up the win, his second of the season, as San Jose improves to 3-6-2 on the year. The Devils see their record fall to 8-3 as they get ready for the LA Kings on Saturday afternoon in Southern California. After the game, Dawson Mercer spoke with the media.
And this was kind of billed by you guys as an important rebound game, prove it, that it was maybe a one-off in the last game. How disappointing is it to fall down early in this one and not be able to climb out of it?
Yeah, when you start like that, you're trying to climb your way out of the game. And for us, that's something that, you want to play with the lead and be smart about and not let it get out of hand if it do happen. But just got to try to create more and obviously not let that happen.
What do you take from this game, knowing that happened? You guys did have your chances, particularly in that second period. And just what do you kind of say to each other here with this?
Just playing with a lot of structure. Follow the way that we usually play. It's been working for the start of the season, and you just really don't want to get off path. If you look at it, like you said, in the second period, we had those chances. We got to finish it and make sure that we take advantage when we can. But definitely playing simple and how you competitive and making sure that we keep the form of the game in the correct line, and then hopefully it goes our way.
Take me through, I know it's tough to talk about goals when you don't win, but just that pass that Jack made to you on that first power play goal, and you're sort of down on your knee there. Yeah,
definitely. When you look at it, I want to make sure that I give him an option. Another sight for him to see. He can make a ton of different plays out there, and just making sure that I show my stick, show that it's present. And then if he chooses to give it, it's great. And if he makes another play, I'm sure that's going to be great also.
You mentioned, the chances you guys did have in the second period where you did outplay them, but then Nedeljkovic comes up with some big saves on a couple of those chances, and then they get too late at the end. Does that kind of deflate you guys going into that third period?
We just got to make sure that we come out and have another strong start and give ourselves a chance and just keep on rolling. Build as much positivity as we can. But like you said, it's going to happen when the pucks don't go in, and definitely you got to try to find a way to get them there. If it can be pretty or not, and just got to make sure that that puck crosses the goal line every once in a while. And then
maybe a little surprised as the way that the Sharks played with their speed and the way they were connecting tonight.
They're a fast team. We know that they're young and they produce a lot of offense. They've been showing that this year that they can score a lot, and that's something that you got to limit for a team like them.
What's the mindset needed for your group in order to get things back on track this weekend?
If you look at it now, we head over to LA, we got to practice, and then back-to-back games. So we obviously have opportunities to bounce back and prove it right away. That's the beauty of the game, playing a lot of games in a short amount of time, that you get that opportunity to, hopefully take advantage next time the games come around.
That is Dawson Mercer, who scored both Devils goals tonight, now has 6 on the season. He had 4 shots tonight of the Devils' 31, and that was tied for the team high. Arseny Gritsuk had 4, and Dougie Hamilton had 4, 3 tonight for Andre Palat. Luke Glendening won 79% of his faceoffs, winning 11 of 14. Nico Hischier won 8 of 15, and that's all just fodder in a way, because the final score was 5-2.
Well, let's go to faceoffs. Who did Calabrini beat to get the draw and fire it right across to Smith?
Lamicombe.
And I'm not knocking him, but you talk about numbers, but there's a couple key faceoffs that you got to win, and that was a key one we didn't win. And Celebrini, he is so good, man. I watched the goal. He zipped it across. It must be a set play. He said, if I get it in the faceoff circle, Will Smith, his winger, you go wide, and I'll get it to you. And he did, and Brendan Dillon came across and made a good block, but the puck went right back to Will Smith, and he roofed it under the crossbar. I don't know what you do, Matt. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just one of those plays. And actually, Lamico, he didn't win it, but the puck was behind him, and he kicked at it.
Yeah.
And then Celebrini just kind of went around him to get to that loose puck. I don't know if there should have been a Devil coming over to get the puck or not, but Celebrini won that battle. And as you said, found Smith, and they probably have discussed that a few times and worked that a few times in practice.
Yeah, and that play probably won't happen again for a long time. But tonight it did.
And it helped defeat the Devils as they fall by a score of 5-2. Quickly before we wrap things up, do you go with Markstrom on Saturday or you come back with Allen? Presumably, whoever doesn't play on Saturday will play Sunday against Anaheim.
Okay, you got to say to yourself, which team is more dangerous offensively? I think it's going to be the Ducks, right? They got more firepower.
I agree.
So I think I would say to Markstrom, let's give you a chance to regain your confidence. You're coming off a really tough night in Denver. And you know what I don't know, Matty? I don't know the win-loss record that both goalies have against those two teams. That sometimes affects it. But, I wouldn't have a problem with either one starting against L.A., because you know why, Matty? Both goalies are going to be hungry. They've been giving up goals, 8 and then even 5. Jake Allen doesn't like that as well as he's been playing, so he'll be hungry. And so I don't know, but I think, Matty, that's going to be the least of the Devils' worries. What they got to do is they have got to do the tighten up, especially in the first period, and don't worry about scoring a goal.
Yeah, I mean, down to Colorado early, never able to overcome it. Down early to San Jose, not able to overcome it. So, a good point by you.
And you know what, Matty? It's not 1-0. Both those games you mentioned, 2-0. That's a huge difference. 1-0 or 2-0. Oh, tonight it turned into 3-0. Oh, the other night it turned into what? 5-0.
Eventually, yeah.
So it's not a recipe. I like Nico Hischier said the game in Denver. He said that was a perfect recipe on not how to play and win a hockey game. Tonight it was better, but still not good enough.
All right. So on that note, actually, while we have a quick second, let's just check in with the head coach, Sheldon Keefe.
Sheldon, obviously this was not the response your team was looking for here tonight. And outside of the good stretch of hockey you had in the second period, is it maybe safe to say that the team was a little out of sync structurally?
No, I don't think it was a structural issue today. I think it was a work ethic and competitive issue for us. We were just... Now, with this said, I didn't mind our first... call it 6 minutes of the game. I know they score, right? It's kind of a unlucky bounce, which is a tough way to start a hockey game. Give up a breakaway like that. But I didn't mind watching it back. I didn't mind the way we worked, the way we skated, our structure, all those kind of things were fine early in the game. And then, we lost it in the second half of the first period. That was not it. That's not the way you can work and compete, and the urgency that you need to have defensively. You just cannot win in the National Hockey League with that as the baseline. So it's unacceptable, and once again, you get what you deserve.
Well, you talk about just getting what you deserve. You saw San Jose, was that a product of them creating from their chances and being opportunistic? Because you guys, like you said, you did have a very strong second period for 17 minutes. You're not able to bury, and then all of a sudden 2 offensive zone face-offs, and you're down another 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, I liked our second period. I liked our third period, too. The second and the third period, save for the sequences you're mentioning in the last 5 minutes or so of the second, that 35 minutes, call it, that type of a game is going to give us a chance to win most nights. We need to find ways to create more offense and find our way through on a night when there's not a whole lot there on the rush. But that was much better. I mean, we worked a lot harder and gave ourselves a chance. I thought we imploded a little bit at the end of the second period there, which just the game just got away on us and is really out of reach from there. But there's the response in the second period that we got was what we needed throughout the first period. That's what I was banking on here today, that our group was going to respond. We failed to do that, so we talked about pushing past the one the other night. We can't push past this one. This is 2 now, and it's unacceptable. We've got to get better in embracing the hard things, and if we want to win consistently, we have to embrace the hard things and do it on a regular basis. So we got away with some things. We're in the early going of the season, and wins went our way, and special teams carried us through. But the reality of the league is it's hard, and if you don't embrace hard things, it opens you up to be able to lose on any night to any team.
When you talk about, the last game you pushed past it, this time you're saying, no, we can't push. What does that look like then to you in terms of what's next?
Well, we're going to talk about it, very openly. Not that we didn't talk about it the other day, but it was more about reflecting and getting back to, the good things that we did to put our team in a good spot to win 8 of the first 9 games of the season. But there are some things here just defensively that have been creeping in and have been there not just throughout the start of the season, but have been there historically as well, that we're trying to get better at, and we're just not there. And that's individuals. There's some players here that if we want to be a serious hockey team, we got to do these things better. We just don't have a chance to compete with the best.
You talk about the second period where you guys did have a lot of chances and you outplayed them in that second period, but then Nedeljkovic gets some big saves, a couple chances, and then they got the 2 ones late. Does that kind of deflate your team going into that third period?
Yeah, of course it did. It was, like I said, I liked our second, like lots about it. We want to convert more on offense. Their goalie did make some saves. I still think we got to do better with the amount of puck time that we had in both the second and the third. I mean, I think, we don't think we gave up a shot in the third period, which, quite frankly, because of how poor we've been defending, that was more of a focus for me than anything. Is we got to embrace a foundation here that we protect our goaltenders. We're hard to play against. We're good defensively, and then our offense is gonna prosper from there. So we got more of that through the second and third, save for that sequence there. But no question, their goaltender was strong today. Didn't give us a chance to really gain any real life and traction in the game. But at the end of the day, we just we didn't do enough in that first period to give ourselves a chance to win a game on the road.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Head coach Sheldon Keefe, and so it's get back to work, Chico.
That's you can break down all the other stuff he said, but you just mentioned it. Get back to work and be working smart. And let's hope for that on Saturday night.
Which is when the Devils will take on the Los Angeles Kings, a game we'll have for you on the Devils Hockey Network.